And I'm just here to squash ageism in the long hair community, especially among women, because I don't hear men say these things, but I always hear women say these things. Like, oh, I'm too old to wear my hair in twin braids, or other women are. And that's ridiculous. Wear the twin braids. But I kind of embrace more West Asian, like, because that's part of my ancestry, like West Asian hairstyling technique and henna, and I love henna. So I am going to be doing another henna application this weekend probably. And you can definitely do henna safely on your hair. And I think we need to embrace that. Like, there's a lot of misinformation around henna. And I find it's kind of coming from modern, westernized hair care because they promote chemical hair dye. And they say henna's not safe. But that's actually not accurate. Now, henna will react with some chemical hair dyes, but you should definitely watch some of the more in the know hairstylists like Brad Mondo, because he's actually tried henna and he is a hairstylist, and I don't think he completely loves the results that henna gives, but at least he educated himself on like how henna is good. And this is why in hair care community I've done some deep dives, and once I did get a tangle from henna, but I realized it wasn't henna that did it. It was the way I applied it, like mixing it with conditioner. With henna, you have to be very careful. And I've done henna every few months since that event. Never had a mishap again. I'll tell you the reason I had a mishap was because I mixed it with conditioner. And one time I had like a scalp irritation, but I found out that's just because I wasn't washing my hair with a certain kind of sulfate shampoo. So I am going to be true to hair care with a West Asian flair, Middle Eastern flair, where henna is a good thing, where it's okay to use drugstore products like, Garnier. I love Garnier. I have experimented with some other lower end drugstore conditioners, and I just don't like them as much. Like, I thought I'd try a Dollar Tree one again, and no, it just makes my hair tangly. I did buy another dupe at the drugstore. It was of Garnier. I might try that one again, but I'm just not super impressed. I'm finding that Garnier is one of my favorites, and actually a lot of people on Hair Talk or just on Hair YouTube, like Abby Young, Audrey Victoria, they use Garnier. Some of them use Dove. I've never used Dove, to be honest. I just haven't. I think Abby Young also likes Pantene. I tried Pantene. I'm not a super fan of Pantene. I think I just really like Garnier's formulations, and I feel like in order to prevent like having issues with your scalp, like I finally got down to this, you just want to use a clarifying shampoo, and you don't need to use one that's high-end. I don't do any high-end hair care. I'm all about growing my hair long for myself and according to my own specifications. I have been wearing my hair up again, but I need like secure hairstyles, ones that if you shake your head, they stay in place all day, like for 12 hours. Like, I do not want to readjust my hair constantly throughout the day. So on Friday, I did these twin buns, but I had like claw clips, and I even put hair sticks in them. And I just find that's not really for me, because the hair sticks would fall out. And I just find I want a very secure updo. So I think claw clips are the trick. I'm kind of going to back away from using hairpins as much, because I was kind of using hairpins earlier in the week to secure, like when I did those space buns, I did the hair donut. I just don't think I want to do that as much anymore, because I do feel like it could be damaging to your hair to do it too often, in my opinion. And I know Like some people use hairpins, no problem, but I do think overall it's probably better not to use them too much. Like I have them and I've used them, but I've just noticed if I am going to do an updo, and mostly just because, I don't know, I haven't washed my hair in a couple weeks and I rinsed it in the shower, but I want to do like a thorough hair cleaning and henna treatment. I'm just finding that the claw clip's better. It's the best. But you want like 3 or 4 claw clips to really keep your hair in place, like super in place. And these are my thoughts on henna. So when I do a henna application, I mix it with water, oil, and yes, I put some essential oils in there because if you follow like a lot of the YouTubers that do henna applications, like Henna Sook, they put a little bit of essential oil in there. Not a lot. You just put a few drops in. It makes it smell better. Like that orange essential oil, ooh, it just elevates the smell. So the last time I did henna was in July, but I only kept it on my hair for like an hour and then I rinsed it out really quick. So how many henna applications did I do this year? I did 1, 2, 3. I did 3 of them, okay? I did 3 henna applications this year. Sometimes I think like I could up it a bit, but I just don't have time. And honestly, I don't think you should overdo henna, but I think you just need to be careful when you do henna and have a respect for the ancient practice of henna. And I think I'm just like an outlier in long hair community. I just realized that I'll never truly be a part of the more westernized mindset because I don't agree like with, I know a lot of people venerate certain long hair gurus like George Michael. I like George Michael the musician, but I don't like George Michael the hairstylist because like he spoke out against henna, and I had to think about this. And I feel like if you ever have one mishap with henna, people that kind of think George Michael is the end-all be-all in hair care will say, well, see, he said that you shouldn't put henna in your hair. But you know what? The Song of Solomon talked about putting henna in your hair. It's a Middle Eastern practice. It goes back in India. It goes back in my roots in time. I'm not gonna like reject henna just because I had one bad mishap. So I just want to say unto you, like anybody that's ever had somebody come and say to you, oh, you had a mishap from henna. Well, you could have that at any time if you apply something wrong. I do believe if you are going to do henna though, that you should never mix it with conditioner. This is just my feeling. Henna can react with certain things, so I would only mix it with oil or water. I did coconut milk in the past. I just find that's a little sticky. You could do that. Some people mix henna with milk. I just been doing my recipe of olive oil, sometimes coconut oil, but right now I have olive oil, so I've been doing olive oil, henna, coffee, and then just to bring out certain hues in the henna and essential oils. And it's just the only and by the way, people talk about rosemary treatments and they do all the rosemary water sprays, but if you read the PubMed research on rosemary where it was comparable to minoxidil, it's oil-based rosemary, and it takes a lot of rosemary to make that concentration of the like essential oil rosemary as opposed to like, so I think you can get the benefits of rosemary by just putting a few drops of the rosemary essential oil in a henna application. I don't do scalp oiling. I think if you just wash your hair every 1 week, every 2 weeks, maybe 3, you don't need to do that. Like I think that's overdone. I think people that are really into scalp oiling, they're just doing that because a lot of the influencers are promoting it right now. But even when I see like Ayurvedic hair oiling, I don't see them do that. Like I don't see them do it that way with the droppers. They might get the oil in their scalp, but it's also just part of washing your hair. You know, like Middle Eastern practices reference rinsing your hair with olive oil. It has healing properties for your hair. So I'm always going to be pro henna, and don't let anybody like talk you out of henna just because you've had one bad experience with it. I think about how the bad experience I had with henna was in 2021. It is now 2024. So I did henna from 2015 up to 2021 every few months. for years with no bad results. And the only time I had a bad experience was, oh, I mixed it with conditioner and it reacted on my hair. Yeah, I don't think you should mix henna with conditioner, but I also am going to say, if you're going to do henna, it's a commitment. You're committed to never using any kind of semi-permanent color on your hair again. You're committed to just doing henna, and that's it. And I do henna because I do like how it imparts some like red highlights in the sun, and also I feel like it strengthens my hair. And also there's just something very spiritual about henna. You should look up like why people in India and the Middle East like have a lot of respect for henna. And it's interesting because did you know in Europe women used to put henna in their hair and indigo? Because there was a time in the 1600s when jet black hair, my hair is naturally dark, but they would dye their hair to look like that. And they did that with henna and indigo applications. So Europeans used to use pure henna too, like the royalty did. It fell out of disuse in modern times because you had hairstylists that just promote chemical hair dye. And I don't agree with any hairstylist that's like, oh, you can't do henna or you can't wear twin braids. I'm the outlier in the hair community, and you just kind of have to be for yourself. And I want women that support me and promote me and what I do, because I've never told another woman that what they're doing is not good. So I'm here to be supported and promoted. And did I feel a little like some hair community like commentary was unfair? A little bit, but you know what? That's okay. Like I said, I did a video years ago about why that's why I don't post on that hair forum. That's why even though I say hair community, I don't really consider myself part of the long hair community. I consider myself a long hair person following her own path in life. I think twin braids are beautiful and you can wear them up in a crown braid, but when I'm on my own free time, I do rock twin braids a lot, and I'll rock them until I'm 80. Nobody can tell you that you're too old for this, that, or the other thing. Ageism. Like, dispense with it. Anti-henna rhetoric. Dispense with it. Those are my thoughts. Alma to weld. As they say, I live a good life. I'm 17 Arabic.